There's no evidence that these 400 people that we've let across the border that has affiliated ties to a terror group, they're just here for good. They're not here for any reason other than to make their life better. Do we actually believe that? There's a startling new report of where money is going for the Pentagon. They have no idea. It's just millions missing. On top of that, Trump did get great news before a debate. The thing is, there's no support for him. What are we doing? Because the Democrats are passing what they want in Congress, and we're allowing it to happen. Even Republicans helped pass this last bill that you're going to be blown away by. Let's dive in today. This video starts right now.
Show me what it's like to be circling among the clouds. Without you by
hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. We're in the truck today. We're actually heading out of town for a few hours, so we wanted to get a video out still. So sorry guys, you're in the truck today. We had a little weather, so we didn't want to jeopardize you being in the weather. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy this channel. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't agree with this, but comment below telling me what your thoughts are on these stories, because all of these really, they're dealing with your money, dealing with your safety and your security, and ultimately, how can we raise our families, making sure we're doing it in the wisest way. So we need to be knowing what these things are and knowing the news of today that people don't necessarily talk about much. So today, let's talk about a few of those stories. First, Mayorkas. And I go back to this. I want to blame Republicans wholeheartedly for some of these mistakes because they're so good at grandstanding, but they never actually do anything to actually get back at making changes. Now, I say that as a conservative, as someone who wants to see Republicans thrive, they're allowing the Democrats just to do what they want. For instance, I told you yesterday, 2 of the 3 bills that came before the House yesterday were Democrat-led, not even Republican-led, in a Republican leadership situation where we're in control. So it shows that we're actually not in leadership like we think we are. Now, let's talk about this first story. 13 Republicans side with Biden and the Democrats to allow for flights to still happen. Now, what flights are we talking about? Well, House Republicans side with the Democrats to fund Joe Biden's parole pipeline. He calls this the humanitarian parole. It's granting amnesty and giving flights, meaning we're paying for flights from people from Haiti, from Venezuela, from Nicaragua, and from Cuba. We are, anytime someone says, hey, please pick me up, 13 Republicans just sided with all the Democrats and Biden to allow them to keep on having these flights to where they're picking people up and giving them basically a full ride here in America. Now, what blows my mind is the Republicans that signed on to this: New York, Pennsylvania, California, Florida. Now, some of these states are the ones that's dealing with the problems that now they're complaining about having in these bigger urban cities. Migrants are taking all our goods. So therefore, even though they have an R behind their name, even these Democrats too, they're all still supporting people coming into our country illegally. And now we're paying, we're not just allowing them to come across the border, which we are. We're literally spending billions of dollars to fly families over here to start a new life and give them humanitarian parole. Now, are you actually getting good leadership in the Republican Party when they still bring this before the House and allow the House to vote? Yeah, some of the Republicans didn't vote for it, but it still passed because the Democrats were able to bring it up and get 13 guys to side with them. This is bad leadership. This is where I think Trump, if he really wants to be the leader of the conservative or Republican Party, you got to get rid of your leadership in the House. Don't try to kowtow to them. Don't try to be like them. Just like he tried with Paul Ryan, just like he tried with all these others, you've got to say, look, I'm going to put the man I want there, and it needs to be a conservative. He likes Johnson, but Johnson is actually doing more for the Democrats than he has for the Republicans. It's kind of like this next story with Mayorkas. Mayorkas, they've tried to impeach him. They've grandstanded, put him before Congress, tried to embarrass him. Ultimately, he still has a job. Listen to what he just said. There's no evidence that 400 there is 400 people that they have seen in the last months that have a tie to ISIS. It's tied to ISIS. They have affiliated ties to ISIS, and we still allowed them in the country because we said we just thought they were wanting a better life, and we thought that they would not cause harm here. So we're allowing those 400 people who have direct ties, affiliated direct ties to ISIS in the Middle East, we allow them into our country. And we then justify it. So what happens if all of a sudden one of those guys commit a terror attack here on U.S. soil? Is Mayorkas going to be held accountable? Is Biden going to be held accountable? No. What we'll do is Republicans will grandstand. They'll talk about, they'll do a strongly written letter, and they'll put them before Congress, and nothing will happen. 400 people just crossed the border that has direct ties to a terror group. And we just let them go. That's not counting the 30,000 foreign nationals from China. That's not counting the people that's other parts of the Middle East. That's not counting just the random people coming up here. I don't think they're here to assimilate and have safety in America. I think they're looking to cause mischief. If they're breaking the law to get here, that means they're not law-abiding citizens, folks. And why are we not doing more about it? It blows my mind that we're even having this conversation. Like it's, again, I go back and say, what are Republicans actually doing for their people? Nothing. They're making money off us. It's truly taxation with no representation. We elect them to go there, and nothing gets done. For instance, Mitt Romney, everybody dogged Mitt Romney out, and he got out. The guy who won his seat, he's Mitt Romney 2.0. I don't think he's endorsed Trump. He's not going to endorse Trump, and he actually beat out the guy that Trump endorsed. So we elect these guys, they smooth talk us, and ultimately never do anything to actually help true Americans to have sovereignty, freedom, liberty, and safety. It's all about what benefits them and their lobbyist firms. For instance, 13 Republicans voting to keep letting people fly in here, to take your tax basis, your dollars, and then on top of that, we allow terror groups to literally come across our border, and we knowingly know that. DHS is reporting it, so even DHS knows about it. Even crazier, Pentagon under Biden administration. 2 stories that just utterly blows my mind. We sent a payment of $62 million for quote-unquote weaponry and for use in Ukraine. Pentagon has no idea where it's at. Now, if you look at the audits over the Pentagon has failed all their audits over the last, I think, decade, meaning they're getting too much money and they're not accountable for our taxpayer dollars. Now, they lost $62 million. They have no idea where it is. They don't know if the weapons got bought, got destroyed, they got lost, stolen. They have no idea. But like we talked yesterday, Biden hired more IRS agents to find $200 or $300 that you did not put in the right place. He wants to penalize you extra penalties and collect from American citizens because you reported it wrong. But your tax dollars that's paying for all these people, they just lost 62 million of them. I wonder if that 62 million floated back to lobbying firms. I wonder if that 62 million is just somehow in buying these multi-million-dollar mansions for these Ukrainian leaders. These cars, these multi-million-dollar cars. Look at what Zelensky's homes look like. He has 3 or 4 homes all across the world, and they're all multi-million-dollar mansions. Do you think he did that off the political payments from Ukraine? No. So again, why are Republicans not bringing this up? They'll write a letter. They always do. They'll bring 4 or 5 people before Congress and yell and cuss and rip and rair to actually have nothing accomplished through it. So the Pentagon loses $62 million. You know what else they came out with? Another startling report from the Pentagon this week says they don't know if they're funding bioweapons being manufactured. They said, we fund a lot of things, and we don't know if we're funding these China biolabs that everybody talks about. We may be funding these bioweapons to be made, but we don't know. See, when people say they don't know, they're playing dumb. That means they do know, and they know exactly what's happening because they don't want to quote unquote lie under oath. So what they'll do is they'll just kind of play dumb. Well, I don't know if we're spending billions over there and we're developing biological weapons. I don't know. So if the Pentagon is spending 62 extra million, remember they lost 40 million just a few months ago. They have failed every audit, and now they're saying that they don't know if they're actually funding bioweapons. Don't you think there should be some major auditing and some major swings in leadership when it comes to Department of Defense and Pentagon? But no, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen under Republican or Democrat. They need to clean house of these organizations because they're literally taking your tax dollars. However, remember, there's more IRS agents. They're not going for the elite. They're not going for the political people. They're not auditing big business. They're auditing and taking the rights of small businesses, and they're auditing the payments that you missed on your tax return for last year. You missed this $500 payment? Oh, no, penalized. So you tell me how that's fair. And now let's end on a good note. We have a debate tonight that I think everybody should watch, because I hope that you tune into this channel before you watch the debate. But, you know, even though we know that it's going to be skewed because it's on CNN, it's still good that Trump has taken this. And I do believe that the more that we allow Biden to talk, I think it does make for a chance to really see who is leading us, which is he is just a puppet. He's just the one, the flag carrier. He's actually not the one leading us, because he's inept. He has lost his mind. So I think the more they put him on there, no matter what they put in him, if he stands there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I don't know if he can be strong enough to do that. So I know they've put in all these rules, regulations, and muted mics, all that stuff. I hope Trump comes across as staunch, presidential, and I hope he doesn't babble. I hope he doesn't try to brag on himself. I know he's a narcissist. I actually like him. I'm going to vote for him, but I hope that he just shines tonight. And I hope that Biden looks weaker and weaker and weaker, because if we don't turn this around, you're getting heavily penalized, your inflation's up, your tax dollars, you don't know where they're being spent, and then we're going to look at a war. That's what we're looking for if we keep this guy's leadership. Well, I think American people are waking up. There's two reports. One shows that he's having a double-digit lead. Trump is winning double digits in most states. The swing states that were once swing states are now turning red. The ones that leaned left are now becoming the new swing states, which is very positive. So I hope Trump does not ruin that momentum by saying something off the wall tonight. Now, here's another thing. Nate Silver, who is an expert pollster, says it's not even close. It's not even a toss-up. At this pressure and at this point, if it keeps using the same trends that we're seeing now, Trump will win in a landslide. Now, that means unbeknownst to Trump, meaning I think the more that they try to use lawfare against him, which it has come out, a breaking story came out yesterday that the DNC has funded the lawfare against Trump. We all knew, but nobody will do anything about it. Republicans won't do anything about it. But it has actually came out that they have funded that. Now, if all of a sudden, if the RNC came in and started funding all this stuff against Clinton, and they were all behind it, you would hear about it and you'd never hear the end of it. But no, the DNC gets away with it. But the thing is this. If they keep doing this, and if Biden keeps allowing this economy to keep tanking, and if they keep provocating for war and allowing for open borders, I think the American people are actually starting to wake up. Our leadership and representation are failing us, and I think people see that, and that scares me, because then I don't think we're going to have order anymore. They're going to have disorder, because everybody has a distrust for Washington. So it's actually benefiting Trump. Now, the thing is, I hope Trump will just not push. I hope Trump is smart enough to say, I know when to keep my mouth shut and I know when to speak. I think that I love the bombasticness. I have no problem with that. I think that's what helped him get elected. But I think he's winning so handily to where he could be his own downfall if he talks too much. Let Biden bury himself by doing the stupid things that he's doing, but you just bring light to it. Like, for instance, the fact that we're flying in people on the American docket. Like, for instance, that the Pentagon, under his leadership, has lost billions. Has lost billions of dollars of your money. All the while, IRS agents are hired to penalize you more. We need to bring those things up. Just like the Assange. I'm glad Assange is out, but to be honest with you, it benefited the Democrats. They're going to use it to build this new form of contempt and case law and common law against and a precedent against journalists. So that means if you try to report something, they can always use this as, hey, well, we've done it to Assange, so I guess you're going to serve 5, 10, 15 years too. And then also they were able to wipe the DNC information off WikiLeaks. So I actually don't think that was a good move for Assange. I know he wanted out. I just wish Trump would have pardoned him. I wish Trump would have just guaranteed his pardon if he would have won. I think that would have been a whole lot better than pleading guilty than what he got. So, again, even though everybody sees what's going on and how bad the world is, how bad this leadership is, I think the tide is turning, and we're turning towards wanting a change. You see that in Europe. You see that in France right now. You're seeing that in Canada. However, the leadership is still gung-ho against its people. Your representation are doing nothing other than fattening their pockets and taking advantage of American people. And that's what we need to see more than anything. The lost money, the bad voting, the fact of our borders, all that is both sides playing politics, and we're the ones being taken advantage of. You're the one losing Social Security benefits. You're the ones losing insurance benefits. You're the one having to pay the inflation. You're the one getting penalized for taxation. Those guys, they don't care about us. So therefore, you've got to be smart, make common sense approaches. And is Trump the answer? No, but he's the best you got. And I'm hoping that he actually stands up and does some of the things that he said he would do, because I don't think we're getting good leadership right now at all. Guys, give me your thoughts. Crazy stories today. A lot of these things are not being talked about like they should. I'm hoping that people will start waking up, because we need it. We need better leadership in America, like they're starting to do across the world. But we've got a big hill to climb, because there's a big swamp in D.C., and I don't know if one or two people can fix it. It's going to take a major leadership change, and it's going to take people who are willing to stand against it. And I hope they pick a good VP. I hope Trump picks a good VP. They'll stand right next to him. Guys, give me your thoughts today. Comment below. Tell me your thoughts on what the debate's going to show tonight, what your feeling is on some of this lost money from the Pentagon, the crazy border situation with the 400 affiliated terror group links we just allow in the country because they're just here to make a better life for themselves. Crazy. Guys, let me know your thoughts. God bless.
You can take me high.